Today on hashtag healthy shit, we're going to be making a 3-bean vegan neat loaf. As you can see here, I've got my large white bowl, I've got my loaf pan, I've got my beans, and I've got all of my seasonings off to the side. Now I'm going to start by washing my cans. I'm going to open them and be putting them in this bowl. I'm going to start off with about 2 cups of raw oats. These will be the regular quick oats that I'm going to put. So I'm going to get my cans washed, I'm going to get my gloves on, and we're going to start. Alright, now that I've got my cans cleaned, open, and ready, I've got a can of red kidney beans. Now these are in chili sauce, but it doesn't have any meat in it. It's just the chili powder and the seasonings. There's no actual meat in it. And I've got a can of black beans, and I've got a can of chickpeas as well. I'm going to start off with, see if I can fit this in here. 1, 2, 3 cups of oats, and I'm going to keep the liquid in my cans. So I'm going to pour in my can of my red beans, my red chili beans. Now that's going to give it more seasoning and flavor to our neat loaf. We've got our chickpeas, and we've got our black beans. Now I am going to be using my hands for this recipe. They have been washed several times. I'm also going to be putting some gloves on. Now, before we get all of our seasonings in, I want to say that if you are allergic to beans, or you don't have a certain kind, or you don't want to use the chili beans, plain red kidney beans work as well. Alright, we're going to mush this together, and then we're going to, well, let's put our seasonings in first. Normally I'd mush it together first before I put my seasonings in. We want to make sure we don't accidentally thin out our seasonings. We're going to take 1 teaspoon of basil. We're going to take 1 teaspoon of parsley. We're going to also take a teaspoon of cumin. I just refilled my cumin, so it's a bit heavy. A lot of cumin never hurt anybody. Cumin makes it more flavorful, and it gives it more of that meat kind of flavor, I guess you could say. We're also going to be putting in some ground ginger, some paprika, some turmeric, and some garlic salt. Let's get let's do our half a teaspoon. Let's do half a teaspoon of ground ginger. You do half a teaspoon of turmeric. And a half a teaspoon of paprika. Alright. Then we're going to put a full teaspoon of garlic salt. First I'm going to clean my measuring cup off camera. There we go. Do a full teaspoon of garlic salt because the beans are going to absorb a lot of the salt, and it's going to be hard to flavor it. Alright. We'll get the lids back on all of our seasonings real quick. I'm going to put them to this side so you can tell which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. Cumin, ginger, basil. Lovely. Alright, we're going to put in, some Montreal steak seasoning. This is what's going to give it kind of like that meaty kind of, what do you call it? Not make it taste like meat, but it can give it a similar flavoring to meatloaf. So it will be more realistic tasting, but still be cruelty-free. Now, this is just seasoning. There's no actual meat in this Montreal steak seasoning. It's just what people use to season steak with. After that's done, we're going to put it over here. Now, we're going to take some nutritional yeast. We're going to be putting about, say we should put at least 2 tablespoons. We might put 4. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3 heaping tablespoons of nutritional yeast. We're just going to add in a quick teaspoon of liquid smoke. There we go. We're going to add in a quick drizzle of some olive oil. This already smells delicious and I haven't even mixed it in. It's going to be about 2 teaspoons of olive oil, I'm guessing. We put in about a teaspoon of tamari. Just to get some varied flavors in there and kind of layer the flavors a bit. We're also going to be adding in about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Just going to drizzle that in. If I can get it open. Yay! Like so. Alright, we're going to mix this together with our hands after I get some gloves on. Alright. I do have about 4 sets of gloves, so if I do need to add in some oats, they are on standby. Now, if you have an oven, I suggest preheating it to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't exactly know what that is in Celsius. Now, if you have a food processor that's quite large, you can do that in there as well. I like to use my hands, because I kind of like some solid bits of the beans and the vegetables I'm going to add in a little while. Now this is a bit wet, so I'm going to add probably in the last 2 or 3 cups of oats I've got on hand. But this is going to make about 4 meals, so I'm not too mad about it. Looks very questionable at this point, but it smells delicious and it's going to taste even better. Alright, I'm going to get a clean glove on after I get some more oats in there. Now if it comes out a little dry, we can add some soy milk or even some oil to this. Add a little bit more. So I'm adding in another 2 cups. Maybe 2.5 cups of oats to my mix because they kind of came out a little watery, but that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to make quite a lot. I'm mixing that in with my hands and go both hands in. Now, I am going to be adding in a can of diced tomatoes as well as some pieces and stems of mushrooms that's in a can. And if you've got your pan off to the side, you're going to be wanting to spray that down with some cooking spray, which I'm going to do after I get all this mixed together. It's just about the consistency I would like. And there we go. I'm going to take off this glove. I'm going to quickly, you know what? I forgot to add in the tomatoes. So we're going to add in our tomatoes real quick. I'm going to add in a can of diced tomatoes. And, oh, some mushrooms. I need to wash and open these cans. I had forgot about them. But we're going to be topping this off with this red tomato sauce. If you aren't fond of that, you can add either a different kind of gravy or even some oils to keep it from browning too much at the top. But I'm going to be adding in some tomato sauce. I'll be back in just a smidge. Alright, I've got this cleaned up a little bit. I've got my tomatoes and my mushrooms open. Now my tomatoes, they look a little roughly opened because I had to open them with a knife because my my can opener broke. But that's fine. We've got our mushrooms. We've got our can of tomatoes. Oh, lovely. Now I could mix this with my hands, but I do have a spoon, so I'm gonna do that just so I don't. Well, you know what? I will mix it with my hand. I'm gonna get one. I have one glove left. I'm gonna take my one glove and I'm gonna mix all of that in. I've got one pan that I've got greased already, and I've got a second pan off to the side in case it's a little too much. Now this is very good to freeze, and then take out the freezer, and then just stick it in the oven. All this mixed in. Now, if you are allergic to mushrooms, a can of whole sweet corn that's kind of stiff, as well as any kind of other vegetables you might like, would be a good addition as well. But I love mushrooms, so I've got a whole tin in there. They are my favorite. This all mixed up. Alright. Now, take that. We're going to add it to our loaf pan. We've got it greased already. Now, we want to fill these as best as we can, kind of do it sort of even. Let me switch this around. There we go. Well, nooks and crannies are just filling some goodness. There we go. Now I'm going to spray my second pan when I get to that. So this makes two, I would say, medium-sized loaf pans, I guess. I always try to make about half my recipe, but it ends up being double the recipe by accident. But I'm not mad at it. It means I get more food than I thought I was going to be getting. That's hardly ever a bad thing. It's only bad if you hate leftovers. Double food for the same amount of money. It's not a bad deal in my book. Alright, got a bowl off to the side here. Gonna wash my can of tomato sauce. Now, if you're wondering how I opened my cans with a knife, this is very dangerous, and I do not condone doing this. But I need to get this video done, so. Make sure your hands are out of the way, and you do this only if you need to. This is not something that should be done on a daily basis. This is just what I'm doing out of necessity. It's very dangerous. I'm not very good at it, as you can see. There we go. There. Now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it on the top. Even it out. Like that. Take this one, put it on top. Oops, sorry about the camera moving, I bumped it. My mistake. We'll even it out. Now what I'm gonna do is my little secret thing. I'm going to take a little bit of maple syrup. I'm going to drizzle it on top of my tomato sauce. Then I'm going to mix it in with a spoon. You can do this instead of mixing it in on the thing, but I feel like this makes it more caramelized and makes it taste better. Take that. I'm going to grab a spoon real quick. Regular large soup spoon. And mix that in. This helps spread it, and it's going to give it a nice caramelization. It's going to give it a little bit of a sweet and tangy. Kind of cut down of all that acidity we have going on. All other sauces and vinegars and things like that. Now you're going to want to put this in the oven for at least an hour. I am on my way to work, so I'm actually going to put these in my icebox and heat them up later. But I will have a picture of them up on my Instagram when they are finished, and it's probably going to be a thumbnail for this video if I do not have a chance to show you at the end of this video. Alright, our topping is on. These are going to go in the oven for about an hour and a half until you try to cut through them and it cuts in the knife or the fork comes out clean. Just in case I don't see you, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mondays are breakfast, Wednesdays are lunch, dinner, and Fridays are dessert. As always, you can catch my social media at SweetGAmber on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Don't these look delicious? I didn't even use ketchup like most people do. I don't like the brown sugar ones. I find they come out too sweet. I think this is going to be just good enough. It's well seasoned. It should come out lovely. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.